Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for your patience. This is Joanna the medium, and these are going to be your readings for the month of May and June. They are coming late. I had some personal stuff come up. I had a loss in my family, and I was also hit with this energetic shift that made me feel, let's just say, discombobulated. So when that happens energetically, it's an interesting thing to go through, but it renders me not as effective when it comes to connecting. So I had to honor myself, and I had to honor my guides, and I needed to stay back a little bit and just allow this to pass through. The month of April and May have been quite challenging, to say the least, for many people. It has certainly been challenging for me. My understanding is that we were going through a massive energetic shift that has brought up a whole bunch of stuff to surface. So this would have affected differently to different people, but I am sure a lot of you were affected by it. So for me, it's coming to the end, but it has certainly not been an easy time to say the least. The month of May and June readings, or the month of May and June, are interesting because they felt very transitory to me. There is a lot of change in the air, and this could be because it's an after effect of the energetic shift. Most of the signs, if not all of the signs, are going through a lot of changes, transitions, a lot of endings, but also starting new beginnings. So very interesting to see. Almost every single one that I was doing had a component of ending on some levels, and endings are not bad. Endings just means that we are done with it. Our soul is done with it and says, okay, I want to experience something new and something different, something much more something bigger, and it's time to leave some things behind. So be prepared that the month of May and June, or whatever is remaining in May, you may actually have experienced some of this in May, but because it's coming out a little bit later in May, you may have already experienced this, or you will experience this in the remainder of May and June. So just be prepared that some of the energies might still feel a little bit shifty and slightly uncomfortable, not bad necessarily, but slightly uncomfortable. But I am being told that we're almost done with this energetic shift, and it will not happen for many years to come. We'll have little shifts, but this was quite, I almost said expensive. It was quite expansive and expensive on the energies, or on my emotions at least, for sure. Of course, these are general readings, so please listen to them. If they make sense to you, great. If not, listen to your moon, rising, or your other signs, or sun sign. And of course, if you would like a private session with me, that information is down below under show more section. I would be more than happy, honored to have a session with you. I think that's all I want to say. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for all your wishes. A lot of you have written to me asking if I'm okay, and yes, I'm okay, but it was challenging, to say the least. But thank you all so much for your concern. I truly appreciate it, and I am back on a regular schedule, and that's all I want to say. So again, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in July. Without further ado, let's get started. Hello, beautiful Virgos. This is going to be your reading for the month of May, whatever is remaining of it, and the month of June 2017. I have 5 cards for you. When I was meditating on your sign, one of the first things that I kept hearing is patience. I actually heard the word temperance, which to me also is about patience and moderation. I also heard the words that were coming to me with the overall energy for the sign of Virgo for the month of May and June is patience, practicality, honoring your truth, and honoring your feelings. So that is the overall energy, or that's the overall message that I got with regards to the energy that will cover May, remainder of May, and also the month of June. The card that actually signifies the overall energy is the card of patience. So this is actually Temperance. It is the card of patience. So this is what I was seeing. This is what I was hearing, and the card actually shows up. So that's a double whammy. That's a pretty significant message. Now, patience. Let's see what they're. How I can expand on this. Month of June in particular. May, yes, for some of you it is starting in May, but particularly in the month of June. Situations will arise. For some of you it's going to be around work, where there will be a lot of frustrations, and it seems to be a month of a lot of ups and downs, probably for many people, but this is for the sign of Virgo. And your need to be patient with the process, as well as patient with yourself and patient with the people around you, is going to be imperative for you if you want to come out of this ahead. In other words, if you are involved in a situation at work or anywhere else for that matter, your best option in the month of May, particularly in the month of June, is not to stick your head in it. It is more to keep your distance or keep yourself away from any kind of drama or any kind of conflict, if you can afford to stay away from it. So if there's a fight with a family member, don't contribute to it. If anything, step away. If you're involved in a fight, or if you're involved in a disagreement, or some kind of a situation where people are opposing their views or with opposing views, your best option is to stay grounded and be really patient, and the word conservative comes in. So the tendency might be to lash out, the tendency might be to get angry and even resentful for some of you, but your best course of action is to be pertinent with your words. That's the word that I'm hearing. I don't usually use that word, pertinent with your words, but also very mindful of the outcome you're trying to achieve, and acting and behaving accordingly without any hastiness. So that is the overall message, or the overall energy surrounding the month of May, whenever you hear it, and going into June. For some of you, it's going to be work, so it'll be interesting to see what the work card is showing. They're face down, so I don't see what they are. The card that represents the chakra that will be most affected is the card of throat. So again, this is your voice box. This is about speaking. This is about speaking your truth. Now remember, one of the things that I heard as key words was patience, practicality, honoring your truth and your feelings. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to bulldoze people because you feel a certain way, but it is important for you to express your concerns, express your feelings, and express your position in whatever situation you are in, without adding into the existing situation, or without adding fuel to the fire. So don't hold yourself down, or don't hold back, but be mindful in the way you express yourself, so that it serves you rather than having the potential to hurt you in the end. And I do feel that for many of you, this is going to connect to work area, and obviously it'll be to other areas for the rest of you. And for some of you, hopefully it's not going to happen. But there does seem to be a bit of a conflict that will arise. Now, I'm seeing a car. For some of you, it'll be conflict around a car. So it could be many different situations. You could be working in a car business. You could be lending somebody a car. You could be selling somebody a car. Maybe somebody borrowed a car and there is a dent in it. There's something about a car for some of you, for very, very, I'm seeing 3% of you. So obviously not for all of you. But whatever this is, even though it is significant, it is not life-changing, and it is not something that I am concerned about. In other words, there's no life or death, there's no serious illness. That's not what I'm seeing. This is the typical stuff that goes on in life, but you're being a bit forewarned, if I may. And things come up all the time in our lives, and we have conflicts all the time. Those are our challenges to overcome. But this is, for whatever reason, it's being flagged as FYI. The month of May and June is very apropos to conflict. Therefore, patience and stability, patience is really is required of you. Okay, now I'm seeing the number 21 for some reason. Whether you're 21 years old, you have 21 in your birth date, something about 21, something about the number 21 seems to be popping up for me. So for whoever you are with the number 21, whatever that means to you, I feel that will that message is that much more important to you. Now, let's move on to, he's asking me to add the number, so just give me 1 second. So that's 5 and 5, it's 10. So 10 or 1 is a brand new beginning. And for some of you, you are coming full circle with regards to some situation in your life. Again, this seems to be very situational. Coming full circle basically means that you are ending a cycle, or what you have started at some point is about to end. And the conclusion of that situation will determine your next course of action, but the conclusion of the situation is very much dependent on the way you choose to address this, whatever this is. And it could be many, many different situations, but that is the message that I'm hearing. And if it's not making sense to you when you hear it first, it'll almost definitely make sense to you towards the end of June or even the beginning of July. Okay, some of you it goes towards July, but for most of you it's going to be June. Now, the card that represents relationships, we have the card called Refusing to See, or Two of Swords. Swords? Yes. Now, this card is shown to me in reverse. This is to me about choices and decisions. Perhaps for some of you, the conflict is going to be around a relationship. Marriage. Some of you who are in committed relationship, whether it be through the certificate of marriage or whether it be through a commitment, common law, whatever it is, makes no difference. I hear for some of you, you've been working on establishing a committed relationship for quite some time. However, for some of you, it doesn't seem to work, or the relationship has run its course. And in the past, you would have chosen to ignore that fact that it isn't working, but you can't ignore it any longer. So for some of you, this is going to be decisions around your partnerships, around your relationships. This is also around relationships with family. There's a decision for you to make, or there's a need to make a decision. And I hear the word final, on something that you have been sitting on for quite some time. You've known that it wasn't going the way it's supposed to be going, or the way it should be going, but you were not ready to deal with it then. I hear the words lawyer. So some of you, this could be a legal situation where you are involved with a spouse or ex-spouse, and there's going to be a conclusion, and hence the word patience, and needing to express your emotions, but doing in a way that is going to benefit you and not hurt you. I also hear the words, there's no need to get mean or angry. So definitely for some of you, this is a resolution of a union. And this isn't a prediction. This is already in works. This is already happening. It's been happening for quite some time. This is now just the process of concluding something. Now he's asking me to move to singles, though, and obviously this is not going to apply to all of you, God forbid, or thank God. This is going to apply to some of you. For some of you, I hear relationships need to be mended. And I feel this is more relationship with someone from your past. This could be an ex-lover. This could be a family member. This could be a best friend. You have parted ways in some unfortunate circumstances somewhere down the road. But either somebody's going to come back into your life, or you have come to a place where you are ready to forgive and forget. And I see two people holding hand or shaking hands or embracing each other as if to say, I'm sorry. And the other person says, it's okay, I'm sorry. So there is a conclusion here, another conclusion. There's a conclusion of that, which also marks a new beginning of a relationship. So somebody's coming back to your life, for some of you, from your past. Again, it could be a lover, but for some of you, it's a best friend. I also hear the word cheated, and I'm not sure if the person cheated on you, or you felt cheated on. Doesn't necessarily have to be with another sexual partner. You could have been cheated for money, or you emotionally you could have been cheated, felt cheated. So the cheating doesn't have to be in a sexual context. It's what you could have been cheated, felt cheated with time. Somebody didn't spend enough time with you. So there's various components that can come through. There's a need for you to release the anger that you have been holding on to. And I actually feel this in my throat, and that's actually the throat chakra. So needed to communicate something in a way that is eloquent. You speak your truth. You honor your feelings, but you don't go out and lash at a person, because that doesn't really accomplish anything. It just gets things even more ugly. Okay, now, so that's for relationships. Let me just see if there's any area he wants to cover. Some of you are caring for a loved one, and this loved one is shown to me in a position of lying down and being in bed. So maybe you're caring for someone who's quite ill, and this someone could be terminally ill. I'm seeing the number 9. 9 to me signifies endings. And this is not a prediction. This is endings. So it could mean that the situation is going to end one way or another. The person is not going to be sick anymore. Or if the person has been severely ill with no way to go back. And again, this is not a prediction. This is something that you're very aware of. And it's going to be for very, very few of you, maybe 1 or 2. Because I'm seeing you putting a blanket on this person and letting them sleep. So you're definitely taking care of someone, and that situation is about to end. And how it's going to end, he's not showing to me. But if it's just a situation where you're caring for someone because they're older, it just means that maybe your contract runs out, or somebody else is going to care for the family member. If it's someone who is very, very elderly and they've been sick for quite some time, or they're basically 1 foot here and 1 foot there, it could mean that the person decides to leave this world. And again, this is something that you are already fully aware of. This is not something that is going to take you out of hit you out of left field. Sometimes people get upset when I say this, but I'm stressing this. This is not a prediction. This is something that you are fully aware of. You've been looking at it. It is inevitable. So, and again, it's going to be very few of you. I feel uncomfortable saying this, but he's asking me just to pass it along. For some of you, it's your mother. You have been caring for a elderly mother who has been ill for quite some time. And when I look at this person, this could be for just one of you. I feel like someone is in a coma, or they have been unconscious for quite some time, or they have not been there for quite a long time. And I feel like they're about to slip out from this body. But again, this is something that has been going on for quite some time. Okay, and I'm going to end at this. Now, the card that's next is about not relationships, money and careers. So we have the card called Take the Lead. This is your passion card, which is often connected to careers, number 3. But the card is shown to me in reverse. When I look at this card in reverse, I hear the words back away. Back away from conflict. Again, the conflict is coming back. Back away from conflict. Okay, how does this relate to work and career, or finances and career? For some of you with work, again, the message is stay away from conflict. If you are in a situation where there is a lot of gossip, there's a lot of backstabbing, there's a lot of talk about other people, spreading rumors, please do yourself a favor. Do not involve yourself in this drama. And I know it's pretty straightforward and it's pretty obvious, but for whatever reason, he is asking me to say this to some of you, or to one of you. And because it is just not worth it. Some of you are in an environment where you may not be adding to the drama, but you are certainly not removing yourself from it. So your very act of participation by listening, by proxy, puts you there as one of the people who create the drama. So whoever you are, do yourself a favor. Do not involve yourself with people who like to do this. It is not worth it on any level. And the reason why I'm seeing this is because management is watching you, okay? And if you are someone who is looking for promotion, or if you are someone who is looking to rise in the company or the place of your work, management is watching is what I feel like I want to say the big brother is watching, but whoever is higher up is watching. And even though the drama might be happening somewhere where no one can see, trust me, somebody's watching. And if you include yourself in that circle, your opportunities for promotion are going to go, okay? So I don't know how many of you need to hear this or even resonate with this, but that is a very, very strong message here. Now remember, conflict, there's conflict possible in the month of May and June, so that seems to be pretty straightforward. Throughout this month, it's all about speaking, or throughout May and June, it's all about speaking, because I constantly feel this in my throat. And this is just saying to me, there's going to be a lot of activity going with regards to your communication. Now, we speak every day, so that's, but that's not what I'm talking about. This is either about learning how to effectively communicate, or the way you communicate, which may have been rash or angry or somehow other way, that needs to be tempered or toned down. So this is about learning how to use this voice box in a meaningful way that will add to your happiness rather than take away from it. And when we're in conflict with other people, there is a tendency to lash out with anger, because conflict often causes us to feel uncomfortable, angry, resentful, whatever. But always remember, and he's bringing this up, so I have to say it, you can always voice your truth in a way that doesn't deliberately hurt another person. You don't want to be that person, trust me, okay? It just doesn't work long term, and it doesn't create a positive energy within you. It just keeps you frustrated. So that's being brought up with work. So there's going to be some conflict at work, or you need to avoid a conflict. Now I want to talk about finances. Some of you are raising money for a house. I'm assuming when I say raising, it means you're putting money aside, you're trying to bank, you're trying to go to the bank to get money, a loan for a house. This could be a loan for something else, could be a boat, any kind of property, any kind of expensive equipment, maybe a car. And I keep hearing thumbs up. So if you are entertaining an idea of looking for a loan or securing a loan with a bank or with a financial institution, I hear the words, the road is clear. And then I see like the flag where they lift the flag for drivers to speed forward with race cars. So if you're thinking of applying for a loan, the message is the road is clear. Now, obviously, this may not apply to all of you. And if it doesn't make sense to you with the bank, then the financial message is not for you. Some of you, the financial component somehow is connected to April. Maybe in April, you found a house. Maybe you've decided to buy a house. Maybe you've decided to sell. Maybe you've decided to buy something else, a piece of land, heavy equipment. Maybe you decided to do renovations on a house. Something transpired in April that is connected to this financial situation, you either asking for money or putting money aside or raising money for a certain cause, okay? Yeah, the stop sign has been removed, which means it's now a good time to ask for money. It is also a good time for some of you to ask for promotion or a raise. So it's interesting that that's coming up, because remember what we talked about earlier. If you are in a situation where you are connecting with people who like to talk, if you're looking for promotion, do not do that. So that's coming up again. So it is a good time to ask for a raise, particularly I want to say, and this will require you to use your voice box, which you may not be comfortable with saying or using at this time, because it requires you to have confidence. So that's important. Some of you are very analytical, and you go into your head a lot. That's what he's saying to me. Why are you saying that? You need to trust your feelings and you need to trust your gut feeling on this. So for those of you who are looking for promotion, check with your gut and ask and feel out if this is a good time to ask for a raise or for a promotion. Sometimes there are times that are better to ask, and sometimes there are times that are not as good. If a company is not doing well financially, it's typically not a great time to ask for a raise. But if a company gets a financial boost, or it has a great month, or the revenue is going up and financially the company is doing great, grab that opportunity, because that's a good time to ask for a raise. So you will know based on where you are in the situation at work if this is something that applies to you. And I hear it's certainly worth trying. Some of you may not feel comfortable with asking for a raise, but the very aspect of asking forces you, so to speak, to dig into your confidence, okay? And again, honor your truth and your feelings, patience and practicality. Okay, so I think that's all I've got for finances. For most of you, I feel like it's a status quo. There doesn't seem to be any major things that I am worried about, or white flags or anything of that sort. The biggest thing seems to be the conflicts in relationships. That seems to be the biggest thing. Now, the card about health we have is beautiful. It's called Flow. Card number 10. I'm trying to think what card number 10 is in Major Arcana. For those of you who follow me, you guys know. I'm going to look it up because it drives me nuts. I can't learn to read cards, for God's sake. It's not one of my gifts. I can talk to dead like there's no tomorrow, but I cannot read cards in a traditional way. So it's just, I try, but it's just not, I don't know. Wheel of Fortune, perfect. So when it comes to health, 10, remember what I talked about earlier, the number 10 coming full circle. This is also number 10. It does, Wheel of Fortune is good fortune. It is about coming back to health. Since we're talking about health, and health is always obviously very important, Some of you are on the road to recovery, and the recovery for some of you is to do with addictions. Now, whether it's drug addictions, whether it's sexual addictions, whether it's shopping addiction, but it's substance. He says to me, some of you are on the road to recovery from substance addiction or substance abuse. Okay? Some of you have been limping for quite a while, and the limping is metaphorical, as in you have not been in great health, but I'm actually seeing an individual who is on crutches because one of his or her leg is either in a cast or was broken, which would signify being in a cast, or there's something off with the leg for some of you, obviously not for all of you. Road to full, underlined, full recovery. Some of you have been in a car accident. You're not going to be. You have been in a car accident, and you have had some complications with your back and also with your head. For some of you, it's abdominal area. I don't know how that would be, but what I'm hearing is the number 9 again, which signifies endings. So your struggles seem to be ending in a very, very near future, and I'm seeing July, borderline June, July, as being the time where you might finally go, I can breathe now. Okay. Some of you are experiencing massive headaches. I want to see why. Because you've been hit from behind. So either you fell, hopefully not because somebody hurt you, I hope not, or you had an accident, or something happened, you had fall, injury, or headache because there was an injury and you fell, or something happened, an accident or something. And I hear the word severe headaches. I feel like those are going to be slightly diminishing. And I don't know why he's showing me ice. I guess for some of you, it could be that if you put ice on your head, that will be better. I actually don't know. So please research this because I have no medical background. But ice is being shown to me. So it's either for a headache or for something that is swollen. There is some swelling. Limbs. Some of you have had broken limbs. And again, I hear the accident. So for some of you, I hope not for many of you. I don't feel it's many of you. There could be like 5 of you or 5% of you listening. You have been in a car accident. And some of this may have been long time ago. And there is some residual health consequences or complications that are still bothering you. And for some of you, it's these headaches. So if you've had a headache for a long time and you were in an accident a long time ago and that complication seems to be stemming from that place, I feel like something that is not the mainstream medicine might be very helpful. And what I mean by this is, for some of you, homeopathy, and I'm not advertising one or the other. For some of you, it is acupuncture or acupressure. And I'm seeing this in somebody's back. Okay, so maybe some of you have had a back injury and you keep getting constant headaches. So that is what's being shown. Now he's showing me salt. Okay, some of you need to make sure that your electrolytes are in balance. Now, electrolytes are minerals and vitamins, but minerals in particular, that are present in our bodies through food in order to help us function properly. So if you have been severely dehydrated, or if you work in conditions where it's very hot or you sweat a lot, I'm hearing pay attention to your breathing, but also you need to make sure that you are properly hydrated with electrolytes. And I'm just going to leave that there for you to ponder, because that could be many, many different situations. And I think that's all I have. Overall, I feel all is well, aside from the fact that you need to avoid some conflict. But that's, that's nothing really all that drastic. Now, I'm just going to go back for a second towards career and money. I need to say the words to some of you, you're on the right path, okay? If you have been wondering, or if you have been questioning, because your gut is feeling is yes, yes, but your head says, no, 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 that's crazy, no, no. The message is you're on the right path. So that's going to be for some of you, not for all of you. Listen to your intuition. Maybe for those of you who are very intellectual, who don't trust your gut. Learn to trust your gut, because your gut is your intuition, and your intuition is your soul's way of communicating with you. Another way of saying it, he says, you're on your purpose, whatever your purpose is. And I don't necessarily believe that we are born with a certain purpose. Our purpose is really to live and be happy, and whatever we choose to do in order to get us there, that's really our purpose. But that's a whole different subject. And so that's the statement I wanted to say, because it was very important for him to give this to whoever. And I'm also seeing the number 7 or July. So somehow this is connecting with the number 7 or July, although I have been seeing 7 a lot in the last few months. So that is interesting in itself, but it is a number of mastery for me. And I think that's all I have. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for your patience, for your listening, for subscribing, for tuning in, for liking. If this made sense to you and you wish to comment, I would love to read your comment. I read each and every one of them, even though I may not respond to every one. I make sure I read each and every one. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful remaining month of May and June, and I look forward to seeing you in July. Take care. Bye.